Well, apparently life doesn't teach me anything because no matter how much I travel in my life, I still fail sometimes. And this trip to Brazil was the latest evidence of this happening, so it inspired me to share everything that I do to ensure my best vacation possible, and also some of the huge mistakes that I made this time, so hopefully you will learn from me and will not make them yourself. Hello my friends, it's me Alisa, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, consider subscribing to stay updated for the best styling and fashion related tips from me. And you know the drill, give this video a big thumbs up and also share it with someone you feel may benefit from it. And with all of this being said, let's get straight to the point. Well, it's quite thoughtful to start packing your clothes not at the last minute but in advance, at least a couple of days earlier, so that you have enough time to deliberately collect everything and not forget anything. Maybe you need to wash a couple of clothes or you need to buy something you're missing for your trip, and this is what I usually do and would recommend to everyone. Although the mistake here is on another very simple thing which can cause a significant level of inconvenience, so hear me out. You see, before you start packing your clothes, you also check the weather forecast at your destination. Very simple and logical as well. However, imagine if you check the weather and start packing in advance as a diligent traveler. You know, like you check the weather, it seems to be warm and sunny for the next 10 days, and then the next day, or sometimes in 1 hour, it changes to complete opposite. So this is what actually happened to me and my husband this time. Double checking the weather before heading to the airport would have saved us from unnecessary spending on warm clothes and waterproof shoes in Brazil. So my point is, always double check the weather forecast at your destination to make sure you have everything in accordance with the weather conditions. Not having enough room for souvenirs, and this mistake I actually never make. So if you have one bag registered, you don't want to pack it the way that you have a free space in your luggage, because everything will be shaking and moving around on the plane. So what you can do instead is to take an empty fabric bag with you, where you can put all the stuff that will not fit in the luggage after buying souvenirs. What I usually do on a long trip like this one to Brazil is I buy one place of luggage and take a smaller suitcase with me, which I have almost empty. There are only the most necessary things for the flight. Besides this, I also take an empty cloth bag, just in case, so that I have space on the way back for both souvenirs and my personal purchases. Concentrating solely on what to bring on the trip and failing to consider everything you might need on the plane, especially if it's a long flight. And for the shoes, at any time of the year, fly in sneakers. These are the shoes you will never be asked to take off then passing through the frame at the airport. It's been tested for years, plus you will be comfortable both at the airport and on the plane. Even if it's unbearably hot in summer, they always turn on air conditioning on the planes and it gets very cold, so make sure to never fly in sandals, or at least take some socks. Also, pre-download all the movies and TV series that you always wanted to watch but never had time for. Don't forget about audiobooks and music, as well as wireless charging, sleep mask and earplugs. Sometimes they give them on the plane, sometimes not, so it's better to be fully equipped. So this next one is for those for whom keeping yourself in shape and exercising is an important part of their lives. And if you like to stay active during your vacation, as I do, you will probably take some appropriate sports clothes with you, right? I always do, but this time I decided, you know what, it's time to take a break from my usual routine. So instead of sweating in the gym, I will swim a lot. I'm going to the ocean and this pool in pictures looks just incredible. Wow, I will definitely spend a lot of time there. I also needed extra space for something else, so I removed my gym sets and instead I took 3 swimsuits. In reality, I wore a swimsuit only once in 10 days, and only to take pictures on the beach while I was freezing there. And apart from pouring rain almost every day, the pool actually turned out to be very small with a chaise-longue inside, which was a very strange concept, so technically it's impossible to swim there at all. So the outcome is, if you're an active person and you think that during your vacation you will switch from your routine and will do something else, like diving, surfing or whatever, just in case, always bring your sports clothes with you. Of course, you can always buy a new set on spot, but it's just wiser to take them with you. Have you noticed how restless sleep becomes the night before the trip? There are so many things in the head, like, have I forgotten something? Did I unload my boarding pass? Or what if I oversleep and be late? One thing that helps me is to write down everything that I have to take and do the next morning before the flight, even if they're very obvious and simple things and tasks, like I write everything. Water the flowers, check the windows, throw out the trash, take the chargers. Then all of these things are written down. It helps the brain to relax, and it also helps to see more clearly the whole volume of what needs to be done in the morning, and accordingly you understand at what time you should get up in order to have enough time to complete everything. Failing to fully complete your first aid kit. This seems to be very obvious as well. I mean, we all take all the necessary medications with us. You never know what can happen abroad. In my case, I take some painkillers, something anti-allergic, everything from cold and flu, and some pills from food poisoning. Also very likely to happen if you eat in new places. And this time that I was packing, it turned out that my food poisoning pills expired, and I was too lazy to go to the pharmacy. I thought if this happens, I just buy everything at place, and what do you think? I didn't need any of my medicine except when my husband got food poisoning while he was at work having meetings, and I have absolutely nothing that could have helped him. I didn't have any mobile connection, so I googled everything that I need in Portuguese while I was at the hotel, and then I took a screenshot and then to the pharmacy. My point is, don't be lazy. Collect your first aid kit in advance, buy everything you need. You never know, in another country they may not have analogs of necessary medicine, or it can only be dispensed by prescription. In the end, you may urgently need something, then all pharmacies are closed. Anything could happen, and health is not a joke, so this one should be taken seriously. And I'm coming back with another point about the weather, but this one is slightly different. So if you are visiting the country for the first time and your trip includes several cities, check the weather forecast in all the places you are visiting. You see, I only knew that when we have summer, they have winter here in Brazil, like in Australia. So I naively believed that Brazil is a tropical country with a hot, humid climate, and it stays like this year-round, even in winter. And the weather should be the same throughout the country. However, I don't know, locals told us then it almost never gets as cold as it was when we arrived in São Paulo. What lucky people we are. So when we were in Rio, it wasn't actually cold. It was cooler than expected, but not cold. And in São Paulo, it was windy, rainy, and plus 11 degrees Celsius. It seriously felt like the end of October, and people were wearing boots, puff jackets, and coats. And this was the warmest thing that I had. So you get the point. If you travel to multiple destinations, check the weather in all of them. Underpacking. When we pack in for vacation, we try so hard not to overpack the shoes, bring only neutral clothes that can be easily mixed and matched, and sometimes we try so hard not to overpack, so instead we may underpack. Especially with basics like tops and t-shirts, you can take one pair of jeans, but for tops it's better to take more, so that you will not end up in a similar situation. The same with underwear and socks. It's better to have more than you actually need. They do not take a lot of space in your luggage, but this way you will always have clean ones on hand. I think that's it that I wanted to mention in this video. I hope you enjoyed it and found something useful for yourself. As always, I thank you so much for watching and hope to see you again in my next video. Bye guys!